You are the target. You're always the target. I don't really understand when people talk about so-called Islamophobia. I mean, I've used the term too, but just for practical purposes. But we have to know not to take that term too seriously. I mean, this is far too reductive. It's so reductive that it's misleading. Islam isn't just one of your marginalized identity groups in the West. We're not looking for a safe space inside your dungeon, inside that torture chamber that you call a society. You don't just attack Islam and Muslims when you overtly do so, when you explicitly target Islam and target Muslims, like a sister for her hijab, or someone praying in public, or you vandalize a masjid. No, you attack Islam and Muslims whenever you degrade and defile humanity itself, when you normalize animalistic behaviors, when you addict people to drugs and alcohol, when you hypersexualize women, when you produce and spread pornography, when you indoctrinate people into abnormal and unhealthy lifestyles, when you prey upon the poor and you prey upon the weak. This is all anti-Islamic behavior. It doesn't matter that you're doing it to non-Muslims. You think we're not supposed to care about that? You're doing it to human beings. You're enjoining evil and forbidding good, and that means that you are fighting Islam. And we know that ultimately, corrupting us is the ultimate objective. You're shooting bullets of corruption through your own people, hoping that those bullets will hit us eventually. Look, there's ultimately only one conflict, the conflict between Shaitan and Bani Adam. That's the only real conflict that there is. And the people who are standing up for Bani Adam, for humanity, that's the Muslims, standing up for the nobility of Bani Adam, the children of Adam, the human race. Standing up for the virtue and the honor and the dignity of humanity, that's the Muslims. We're the only ones doing that. And anything, therefore, that degrades humanity, that debases humanity, that dishonors and corrupts humanity, this is all and always an attack on Islam and Muslims. We're the ultimate target of that, even if they don't officially make it about us, even if it's not explicitly called Islamophobic, because we're here to uplift and to dignify and to purify and to sanctify human beings. We're here to prove our worthiness. But Shaitan is here to prove our unworthiness. So everything that gets promoted, that degrades people, is anti-Islamic. Being so-called Islamophobic actually means being against morality, being against piety, against virtue, against being upright and honest and chaste and decent. Because that's what we stand for. That's what Islam stands for. That's what we're here to be. Now, you've been very reductive in what you consider anti-Muslim or anti-Islamic. Listen, in this dunya, in the story of humanity, there are basically sort of just five collective characters. There's only five characters in the story of humanity, collectively. There's the Ahlul Kitab, that's the Jews and the Christians. Then there's the Shayateen. And then there's, everybody else, the Mushrikeen, the atheists, and so on. These are basically just dazed zombies of the Shayateen. And then there's the Muslims. These are the characters. These are the characters in this story. The lead antagonist is Iblis, is Shaitan, and the protagonist is the Muslims. We are the collective protagonist of the story of humanity. Now, I'm not saying that the Jews and the Christians are antagonists. No, I'm not saying that. They are characters in the story. Shaitan is the antagonist. We are the protagonist. And all the other characters in the story become instruments through which the struggle and the tension and the conflict between Shaitan and us plays out. You understand? This gives you a simple framework for interpreting our life in this world that you can anchor yourself in. Those are the characters. And when you know that those are the characters, then it's easy to understand their dialogue and understand their actions. And they will very rarely ever act out of character. This is what I've meant when I talk about knowing what team you're on. Which collective character are you a part of? Because you're either part of the protagonist character, or you're part of the antagonist character, or you're just an extra. An extra that will just end up being a pawn in the story. Just an instrument that will be used by the antagonist against the protagonist. Used by Shaitan against the Muslims. See, a lot of people think that the battle between good and evil is between God and the devil. But you make the devil way bigger than he is when you think like that. No. No one has the power to do battle with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to do battle with God. The counterweight of the devil isn't Allah, it's you and I. It's the ummah, the Muslims. We are the counterweight against shaitan. And his battle is against us. It's against us because we stand up for God, because we stand up for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we worship and obey Allah, because we do what the devil refused to do. And in so doing, we stand up for all of mankind. We're the advocates for humanity. We're the advocates for human goodness. We're the advocates for the nobility of our species. And we're the ones that shaitan is out to get. We're the ones that shaitan is fighting, not anyone else. Oh, he's your enemy, but he's not fighting you. If you're non-Muslim, shaitan's your enemy, but he's not fighting you. He's fighting us because we're fighting him. He's not fighting you because you're not fighting him. He's not fighting you because you're already under his control. He's your enemy, that's for sure. But like he said he would do, he laid in wait on your right and on your left and in front of you and behind you, and he ambushed you. He already took you hostage. So he's your enemy, but he's not fighting you. He's controlling you. And that's why you're fighting us, because he's controlling you and he's fighting us. And believe it or not, we're fighting to free you from him. Let me tell you about how he's got you hostage, how he uses you to fight against the only people in this world who actually want to help you get out of his clutches. So like, for example, you see in the West, they have all these different iterations of movements whose real sole objective is just to alienate men and women from each other. Well, Muslims are the ultimate target of that. This is what I mean. We're the ultimate target of all of these things, of all of these maneuvers, because that's all this is. That's all these things are. That what I'm talking about with these relationships is nothing but trying to turn men and women against each other. And the ultimate objective of that is to turn Muslim men against Muslim women and Muslim women against Muslim men, because demographics, birth rate, is the fundamental component for a society to even perpetuate itself. It doesn't matter which iteration you're talking about. If you're talking about feminism, or you're talking about red pill or black pill or incel or MGTOW, LGBT, beauty standards, sex positivity, body positivity, pornography, trad wife, cosplay, whatever. All this nonsense. This is all shaitanic strategies just to try to estrange men and women from each other and estrange them from their natural innate fitra when it comes to each other, so that it might eventually infect the Muslims and destroy our families and end our bloodlines. There's only one war going on. And talking to people in the West, Shaitan is using you all like a biological weapon.
Alright, in this video, Shahid Bolsen is explaining what people are doing out here and act like it's a normal thing. People are normalizing bad things to fit somewhere. People are normalizing bad behaviors to fit somewhere. You see, people are normalizing inhumanity to fit in some group of people. Feel me? Because right now, if I try to bring this old story of Latino Americans trying to fit into white Americans, they try to hate black Americans, just to fit in that gap of being the whites, they start to hate black Americans. All right. So Shahid Bolsen is really addressing Islamic to stop acting like the Westerners to fit into the Westerners. All right. They start acting inhuman to start just to fit in that group of people. Okay. And Shahid Bolsen is just trying to point out some few things that people are doing to discourage, to look more like inhuman in this world. A country normalizing pornography, that is a very, very bad thing. But for somebody to fit in that group, you have to normalize that thing in your country as well. Right? So for you to start hating something, because they feel like when they begin to hate this whole thing, they begin to condemn this whole old behavior, they won't fit into the Westerners. You know how much Westerners has cost other countries? Basically, majorly, let me just base on Africa. How the West have manipulated Africa. Even in when it comes to the religion, the West have made African believe that there is a white God. The West have made you believe that, and for you to erase that truth into a black person's mind, it will take you time, because they have been known that thing even before writing began. They've been seeing them in the movies. So for you to go and convince somebody that the man in that video is not a human, I mean, is not the God we think. He is a human being. We can just meet and talk to him. They won't believe you, because they be like, how would a human being be treated like that? So the West have made other countries copying from them for them to fit in their gap. Shahid is being very clear that the West has made you believe that for you to fit in the West, you have to hate some people, you have to do as they want, you have to do some culture, you have to avoid some things. The West has really trained people, has really made people to believe in the lies, to believe in bad things, to believe in that being inhuman, like to believe like trying to make somebody's life miserable is doing the right thing. Trying to own somebody as a slave is doing a good thing. So Shahid, in his own words, he is condemning those kind of behaviors. The way people are normalizing bad things. People are normalizing death. Like Iran war, between Iran and Israel. That ain't a war that people should. Somebody must shed blood for you to have peace. That's what Trump wants. Trump wants to be seen as powerful as he thinks he is. All right. And in that line, he sheds a lot of blood, and people dies. People die because of for somebody else to be seen powerful. If he can only come and talk and negotiate about something and make a deal without shedding blood, he won't be powerful. So he has to shed blood, cause some people death for him to be powerful. Shahid Bolsen is being very clear. Black people have been through some dark paths. African people have been through some dark paths. They have lost people. They have lost life. They have lost language. They have lost names. How many of you have learned French? How many of you have learned English? But how many white people have learned Swahili? Have learned our native languages? I mean, I'm not native. Our what the term I was supposed to use? Our mother tongues. How many have they learned? America have made you believe that when you have a dollar, you can't have money that is powerful than a dollar. That's how it is. Somebody has to believe in them to survive. Somebody has to do as they want to survive. And that is what Shahid is trying to condemn in his community as an Islamic person. He is condemning that behavior. You don't have to do something to fit in some space. Do the right thing as a human. I have a very long clip here. Watch it. I'll come back.
He infects you with corruption and with confusion, and then he sends you out to go contaminate others. That's what's happening. I mean, honestly, if you even get into any of these weird theories from the West about relationships, whether it's modern feminism or red pill or what have you, wallahi, you are already on the absolute outer fringes of heterosexuality, honestly. It's the same with the whole beauty standards dialogue, discourse. I mean, stop talking about men are only attracted to women with this or that body type, who look this way or who look that way. Because believe me, any man that this applies to, if it applies to anyone in the real world, not just on the internet, any man who's like that, wallahi, he's barely heterosexual in the first place. Men are attracted to women, full stop. Women are attracted to men, full stop. Doesn't matter. That's the only thing that's true as a generality. Everything else is individualized. Everything else is subject to mutual chemistry between two people. Literally everything else beyond these natural facts comes down to the unique qualities of individuals. And there's no truisms beyond this. So if you're trying to complicate and toxify and interfere with or confuse people about this, well, you're an unnatural person. You want men and women to be adversaries. You want them to approach relationships like rivalries. Well, you're basically not normal sexually. And the people who get captured by these weird ideologies, they're hostages. This is what I'm talking about. These are the hostages. These are the people from among the zombies that I was talking about. These are just unthinking puppets being operated by whatever ideological strings that get hooked into their emotions and into their nafs by shaitan to advance this broader strategy against humanity and against the Muslims. I mean, these are empty ideologies. These are fabricated, empty theories. These are fronts for a hostile campaign against human love, dignity, decency, and the fitrah. Same as literally anything else that ever comes out of the mouth of an atheist. Well, I have never seen anyone who thought being completely irrelevant made them important like the atheists do. Look at you. What's the common denominator among all of these types of people who follow all of these weird ideas? They don't have children. You know, you think that your ideologies are about one thing, but the real point is just to make sure that you are the last generation of your lineage on this planet. Your whole family line is going to be wiped off the face of the earth when you die. Mission accomplished. And think that through a little bit further. Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world. So shaitan is actually just depleting the pool of future Muslims by ending your bloodline. Because someone from your progeny was going to become a Muslim. Just statistically speaking. If not your kids, then your grandkids. Now, it's a serious mistake to ever entertain any ideas or any theories coming out of the West. And the only reason that you would entertain any of their ideas or any of their theories is if you do not understand the nature of the character who is speaking. Meaning the character from among those 5 characters that we have in the story of humanity that I was talking about. Because if you understand the character, you understand their role in the story, then you will immediately understand the point of their dialogue. And you'll immediately understand what our antagonist is trying to accomplish by having them speak. Well, I'll tell you, I can't even quantify the magnitude of my indifference to anything that they have to say. I mean, you're not even Muslim. You understand? At least be Muslim. I mean, I'm not even saying that you have to be a great Muslim. I'm not even saying that you have to be a good Muslim, but at least be Muslim. I mean, if you aren't even Muslim, how can I take you seriously? You know, you're incomplete. You're incomplete. And that's why you're broken. That's why they could break you. Because you're incomplete. And now you're intoxicated. You're intoxicated at all times with propaganda, with indoctrination, with corruption, with confusion. I know you'll get mad when I say that I can't take you seriously if you're not a Muslim. I know you'll get mad about that, but please understand where I'm coming from. If a sober man and a drunk man come up to talk to me, which one do you think I'm going to give my attention to? Because listen to me. When you talk, you don't make any sense. I know you think you do, but you don't. I know it all sounds good in your head when you're talking, when you hear yourself, but believe me, if you could listen to yourself, once you become sober, you would know just how drunk you sound. I mean, people send me clips, you know, they send me video clips or posts or what have you, things that Western non-Muslim so-called intellectuals say, or pundits or influencers or celebrities or whatever, because they want me to respond. They want me to reply. And I've done it here and there, you know, out of courtesy. I don't think I'm going to do it anymore, honestly. Or anyway, I'm going to be even more selective about it when I do it. Because there is really no reason why any of us should be even interested in that. They're only talking to each other. You understand? And all of their talk is just to reinforce their own captivity. Their intellectual, moral, spiritual, and psychological captivity. Their captivity and their intoxication. Muslims need to start protecting their brains the same way that we are commanded to protect our private parts. If you're intellectually promiscuous in the discourse that you expose yourself to, you're going to get a rhetorically transmitted disease. See, I'm not interested when these people talk to each other. I'm genuinely not interested. I'm not interested in terms of like, I can learn from them. No. I can learn something about them. And that would be the only reason that I would listen. It's reconnaissance when I listen to them. When they talk to me and I listen to them, all I'm doing is diagnosing what's wrong with them, what's been done to them to make them like this. You know, listen, I respect them as human beings, but I don't respect a word that comes out of their mouth. No, I don't respect your thoughts. I don't respect your mind. You know, like I say, I respect you as a person. I will be courteous to you. I'll be cordial with you. I will try to have good manners with you. But no, I don't respect your ideas. I don't respect your opinions. I don't respect your thoughts. Because you don't either. How am I supposed to respect you when you don't respect yourself? You drugged yourself. You got stoned on propaganda. You got stoned on lies. And even when you say you want to quit the habit, you never do. You know, even when you say that you want to be serious, you never are. You can literally forget about a genocide the moment some celebrity gossip pops up on your social media feed. Do you understand? I can't even remember the last time that the algorithm even showed me an advertisement for a product. Meanwhile, you and I both know that your browser history alone would probably be enough to have you diagnosed with schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and ADHD. They broke your mind. That's a fact. And that broken mind produces broken thinking. And that's why most of the only fully formed thoughts that you have in your mind were put there by somebody else. I'm not trying to be cruel. I told you. The Muslims are here to try to help you get out of that captivity. We're here to dignify people. We're here to liberate people. We're here to uplift people. We're here to ennoble people, to help you get out of the humiliation of servitude to creation into the dignity of servitude to the Creator. And that's what the whole battle is about. And when they drag you down, it is an attack on Islam. It is an attack against the people who want to see you upright. But the fact is, you are down. And I'm telling my own people, I'm telling my brothers and sisters in Islam, that we have no business going down there. Because of colonization and because of, global Western homogenization, unfortunately, it has become second nature even for us, like a reflex, to come running over to the West, to non-Muslims, for information, for validation, for confirmation, for verification, and for approval. Meanwhile, they are pathological, psychopathic liars, literally wandering around drunk in the dark. They're zombies who have been subsisting on the flesh of the global South. They're criminals. You're literally going to them as a reference, as the arbiters of what's accurate and correct. And meanwhile, these are the same people who swore up and down that Saddam Hussein had unholy apocalypse all stockpiled in Iraq and he was about to unleash it on the world just because they wanted to demolish his country. These are the same people who watched 600 African-American men rot for 4 decades in Tuskegee without their consent and without penicillin. These are the same people who laced their own citizens with LSD under MK Ultra, who smeared, who sabotaged the civil rights movement under COINTELPRO. And they called it national security. Literally, they went to war against their own citizens, covert war, CIA-style war against their own citizens just for wanting their own civil rights. These people, right now, the same people are starving Gaza after completely demolishing it. They're starving them. The entire Gaza Strip is in a state of catastrophic hunger. Million people on the edge of starvation. And they're doing it deliberately. These are the same people who handed out the Nobel Peace Prize to Obama when his drones were vaporizing whole villages. These people, you're going to go to these people. Are you going to an arsonist to try to get your smoke alarm fixed? Why are you still pretending that these people have anything whatsoever to contribute? Like, I had people telling me that I should watch that recent Jubilee debate. But to me, it's not one progressive debating 20 conservatives. It's 21 Western supremacists putting on a performance, putting on a talent show where the talent is the ability to express values that you do not have. See, when you put on a debate, these values versus those values, the point is not to show which values are better or which one's going to win the debate. The point is to make people think that these are real values that exist in the West. It's all misdirection. When Western non-Muslims talk, don't listen for truths. Listen for the lies. There's no other reason to listen. I said that you're the protagonist of this story. the Muslims, my brothers and sisters, but you've been acting like side characters in the story of humanity. You've been acting like extras who are desperate to become the West's sidekick, and they only ever treat you like comic relief or like a villain. I'm telling you, the wrong character in this story, in the story of humanity, has got main character syndrome. The West has got main character syndrome like you can't believe. And they believed it so much that they actually got you convinced. No, you're the protagonist. You're the hero of this story. Stop centering yourself around them. You got to where you look at everything through their eyes, through the West's eyes. You look at them through their eyes. You look at yourself through their eyes. You even look at your own people through their eyes. And even some of you look at the deen, look at Islam itself through their eyes. And that ends up being the same thing as being blind. I mean, look at the relationship stuff again. In Islam, right, in the Muslim world, we have arranged marriages, or anyway, we have marriages without dating. We have marriages with family oversight, and so on. We have varying degrees of gender separation across the Muslim world, right? Okay, you in the West, you have dating, you have cohabitation, you have common law marriages, you have short-term dating, long-term dating, one-night stands, you have no gender separation, you have free mixing, you have boyfriends, girlfriends, friends with benefits. Women have male friends, men have female friends, all of that. Okay. You go through long periods of getting to know each other before you marry, etc., etc. Right, okay, so tell me, why are you the epicenter of relationship confusion? Why are you the epicenter of feminism, red pill, black pill, relationship coaches, dating advice, how to please men, how to please women, what men want, what women want, self-help books, relationship gurus, marriage counseling, relationship counseling, on and on and on. I mean, theoretically, you all should actually know much more about each other than anyone. But still you have women seeking out relationship guidance from TikTok. And you got men on the so-called manosphere trying to figure out women. Well, you're all right up next to each other 24/7 in your societies. You live with your partners for years before marriage, and your marriages fail anyway. Highest divorce rates on record. Loneliness epidemic. You are complete catastrophic failures in the area of relationships. Catastrophic failures in the area of families. Meanwhile, you don't stop telling people how to get a partner, how to please a partner, how to raise their kids, how to do this, how to do that, how to do all of the things that you are abysmally bad at doing. How to get rich by renting a Lamborghini and making videos about how to get rich. How to protect human rights with mass shootings, over 1,000 people murdered every year by the police. Human rights with indefinite detentions, with torture. How to have a democracy when all of the power in your country is in the hands of the unelected private sector. How to have free speech when every venue of speech is controlled by tech companies that have full censorship authority. And you can get kicked out of university for saying free Palestine, or you can get fined, or you can even get put in jail, or you can get deported. I've said it before, on the micro scale and on the macro scale, you're the same. I mean, why on earth would anyone on earth listen to you about anything? You have never practiced what you preach or preached what you practiced. And by any reasonable metric of civilization, your society is barbaric. The only way that you can't think so, the only way that you can't see it, is if you're looking through the blind eyes of the West or listening with the deaf ears of the West. Now, the only thing that we've ever gotten from the West is bad habits, and we need to break them. You are the protagonist of this story, the Muslims, and you need to act like it. Our frame isn't protect Muslims from hate. Our frame is protect humanity from shaitan. That's a protagonist's posture. Like I said, we're not begging for a safe corner where you won't beat us. No. Every injustice that you commit is our business, whether it's in Afghanistan or in Argentina. If it's Egypt or Ecuador or Pakistan or Puerto Rico or Mali or Mississippi, if it's South Africa or the south side of Chicago, whether you are oppressing people physically, you're oppressing them mentally, psychologically, spiritually, or economically, it's our business. Look, I'm not trying to convert anyone. I'm not trying to convert anyone. I'm not a da'i, except to convert you from confusion to clarity. Whether you come to Islam or not, this is a matter of your own intelligence. And whether or not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees enough good inside your heart to bless you with guidance. But I'm not about to pretend, for your sake, that confusion and clarity are the same. or that misguidance and guidance are the same, or that being a hostage of shaitan is the same as the people who are actively fighting against shaitan. I'm not going to pretend to make you feel better that immorality and morality are the same, or that degradation is the same as dignity, that down is the same as up, or under is the same as over, or that drunk is the same as sober, because that's the difference between us. You can't open a newspaper or browse the internet for 5 minutes and not see that as plain as day. And I hope you're not going to start saying, oh, but the Muslims, though, right? You're going to say that. The Muslims are this, the Muslims are that, the Muslims are evil, the Muslims are violent, the Muslims are terrorists, and so on. When you and I know perfectly well who is the one who told you that is the same one that's making your life miserable and who's gaslighting you about it right now. But you're degrading your own self when you talk like that. No, the Western system has collapsed. The Western narrative has collapsed. The Western framework has collapsed. Western legitimacy has collapsed. Western credibility has collapsed. And if you want to keep falling down that sinkhole with the West, telling yourself that you're on a mountaintop while you're in a sinkhole, that's up to you. But we're not going to play along with that anymore. We're not going to play along with that delusion anymore.